as we mentioned, NASCAR Cup Series is testing in Phoenix yesterday and today. And our next guest hails from a racing family that loves the front row. He won 7 races in 2023, including taking my chance at a cowboy hat in Texas. And I'm sure he has beat you, Landon, a time or two. He will be driving the number 42 for Legacy Motor Club in 2023 in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's our West Coast correspondent on today's show. It's Hunter Nemechek on the Money Lap Live. Welcome to the show, my man. Appreciate it.
What's going on? How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going, man? Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Are you in a rental car right now?
I am. It's a little loud here. The lounge of the hauler is taking over. So didn't know exactly where to go do it. So my rental car was the next best place.
No worries. You know, many decisions have ended up in that same place. So let's talk about why you're out at Phoenix. NASCAR decided that they wanted to do this test to work on some of that short track package. You're out there with your team, Legacy Motor Club, observing. What are you seeing? You're our correspondent on the ground in Phoenix right now. What is some of your earliest impressions from yesterday into today?
Man, NASCAR has definitely thrown a lot of different variables at the car as far as package changes and different tire compounds and whatnot. So it's been neat to be able to be here and listen in and hear what Eric has had to say, as well as some of the other drivers that are here. Just trying to learn as much as I can while being out here about these packages, short track packages, road course packages, wherever they decide to end up running, the things that they're testing. So it's been interesting for sure. I don't know if they've made gains or not necessarily made gains or have found exactly what they're looking for. But everything is through trial and error, right? So I think the biggest thing for everyone that is here is just learning what different things do. They've had a couple mock races, which have been fun to watch with the different packages that they've provided. So I think they have a few more today within the test plan that are going to be exciting to watch. As much as it is exciting to watch, I wish I was driving.
I bet.
So it sounds like they don't. You won't get a shot to drive at this test or get any seat time over the next day or two.
No, so today is the final day out here. I was hoping that I was going to get my shot to hop in and get some seat time, but it's been good to at least be out here with Legacy Motor Club and Ben Bayshore, crew chief, our engineers, kind of our 42 team, and all the powers and that be within the engineering side, as well as just listening to Eric and Dave and how they communicate and learning about things that they want to try or have tried in the past, and just trying to learn as much as I can so that when we go into 2024 and we start off our year, we can 100% learn each other's lingo and be on the same page communication wise.
Well, going back to the tests and the packages and what they're testing out and trying, what seems to be moving the needle the most, just from your perspective right now? I mean, it sounds like they've tried tires, they've tried aero. What's more sensitive?
I mean, the aero side, I feel like has been somewhat sensitive. I don't know if it's necessarily the direction that they want, or the drivers that are here want. Tire compounds have definitely been interesting to see what they've brought and how they've changed handling and grip and lap times and different things of that sort. So to me, just from a visual aspect, it seems like tires have been the biggest thing that has moved the needle as far as more grip, lack of grip, and on both sides of that spectrum.
What is their goal right now? What do you know what their objective is?
To be honest, I don't necessarily know. I think a lot of guys want these cars to handle a little bit better in traffic, compared to some of the racing that we've seen. But it's with the Cup cars, at least compared to the Xfinity cars and even the Truck Series. It seems like the Cup Series and the Truck Series are a little bit more aligned as far as dirty air goes and turbulent air and how they get tight behind cars and different things of that sort. Whereas the Xfinity cars, you don't really have that big balance shift, and you're able to drive right up to the bumper of guys and not necessarily lose the nose as bad as you would in a truck or the Cup car. So I think just trying to make them race a little bit better. I wouldn't necessarily say drive better or drive worse, but trying to make the final product a little bit better.
And one, what's unique about us three here, we've all driven the Xfinity car in its current generation. We've all driven the next gen car a little bit, although I have the least experience. I only got to do it once. But I think one of the things I saw, John, was the underside, like what they're trying to do in the underside. I saw some photos. You have the splitter that's raised, and then even like I saw one photo of Larson where the rear diffuser is basically gone. Like that was the thing when I drove that car that was so focused, right? Was this idea of like getting this diffuser as close to the ground. And so for us as drivers, it was a mental shift of don't think about the tire, that sort of thing. Just think about like, hey, how are you keeping the aero platform on this car? That's what we're trying to do, right? Don't think about the ride quality. It's all aero platform. Have you seen any indications in talking to Eric or the data, like when they removed that diffuser wherever back there, do you not worry about that as much? Is there any indications on that, like that it's changing some of the thought process for the team and the driver in that sense, or not really?
Yeah, I definitely think that removing the rear diffuser has changed a little bit for sure, as far as handling characteristics and how it has made the cars drive. I don't know if it's necessarily a better product or not from doing that. But then again, I definitely think that taking some of the downforce away, I would say, and less reliance on that rear diffuser, in theory, it should create less turbulent air and make the cars race a little bit better behind one another, just not relying on all of that air to be on the rear diffuser in order to go fast. So talking with Eric and some of the other drivers here, I think C-Bell is probably one of the biggest advocates for taking downforce away or making them slip and slide around, which makes sense from his background. So it's definitely been interesting to hear all of the different drivers' perspectives and see what they've had to say so far.
My hesitation with that, and it's hard to find a driver that will fight for downforce. So I'm with the majority on typically wanting downforce off of our cars, but I feel like we're running out of ammunition for that argument with this car because this car does not have much downforce, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw it too with the whole lift splitter thing. Like I don't think it did what they thought it was going to do. And I'm wondering if we've just kind of running out of bullets when it comes to pointing at downforce to be the issue here.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I don't have a ton of experience in this next gen car in order to give my full 2 cents, like some of the other guys here are able to do, from racing it week after week for the last 2 years. So I definitely think that there's some things that you can point your finger at as a possibility of areas to look at or work on. But then again, the downforce side, I kind of feel like it's a double-edged sword, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. But you can take downforce away and make them slip and slide around. But then again, if you don't have enough downforce to lean on and to feel somewhat secure in the race car, you're not able to ship it in the corner and try and dive bomb
Right.
guys or be confident enough to move around to find different grip and to try and pass and different things of that sort. So I
I've
definitely
always
think that
felt
there's a
like
fine line there.
I've always felt that I guess that when people talk about it, we just talk about downforce, right? And you don't really gauge it off of anything. And the way I've kind of pictured it in my mind, or when I have these conversations, I'm thinking more of just overall grip and where is it coming from, right? I like our
Yep.
cars to have lots of grip, right? I like to go fast. I like the cars to be responsive because that's where you have the most feel as a driver. And then, of course, typically drivers, and you and I come from the same short track background, we like to have cars that fall off in grip and the tires wear, and then that feel changes. But like when I think about grip, I think, okay, well, where is it coming from? And so when we talk about taking downforce off the cars, I always think, well, you still have to replace it with something, right? So you
Yep.
you want to take downforce off the car, replace it with mechanical grip, so therefore you still have feel and you still have this the speed in the car, or the capability in the car. Like, if you have no downforce and no tire and you just have a numb, sliding, slick car, then that's how you can also have bad racing there too.
I've driven that, by the way. Just so you both know, back in 2013, the Gen 6 car, when they were first trying to figure out the package for it, we went on like the lowest downforce setting they'd had in 30 years at Kansas, which was a repave. And it was that exact thing. And you talk about being on edge, John Hunter. It was like driving on a knife edge the whole way around the track. And I was like, yeah, that might be interesting because you'll have a lot of wrecks. I was like, so it can
Yeah.
go too far in that sense, a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And I think that from some of the drivers' comments of the different packages that we've run here, some are for it and some are against it. So who knows where we end up? I know that a couple of the packages that they're going to run today are very interesting and intriguing, in my opinion, and listening to the drivers kind of talk about it in their meeting with the NASCAR folks. And so hopefully something kind of comes about from that. But it definitely excited from the standpoint of the direction that they're trying to try today, compared to some of the things that they may have tried yesterday. But you don't know until you try it, right?
Yep.
So I want to make
Man,
one last point on this. That's kind of maybe a plant a seed and something that we haven't discussed before. But it's really, I want to applaud NASCAR for trying things. Right, NASCAR more than ever is willing to develop ideas, take them to the track, see how it works. Right, it seems like we do that more than we've ever done, and
Yep.
I wonder if I think NASCAR is just more willing to do that right now, so that's cool. And that's probably a big push of that. But I wonder if it's the standardization of the next gen itself that's allowing for that to happen, right? Where you don't have all these different teams developing and manufacturing their own cars. So when it comes to an aero change, the teams have to like do way more of their own manufacturing to try something and to try it at a test. Where now it's like the cars are all the same. It's a standardized component. So the ability to iterate on it maybe is a little more efficient, and it's allowing NASCAR to hey, we're going to go to a test and we're going to tinker with stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that from your standpoint and the standardized car standpoint, right? Like you said, when the teams have to manufacture parts to try, normally from chassis to chassis, things aren't quite universal.
Right.
So now having a universal car, it definitely, in my opinion, is easier to try stuff like that, and to have 6 sets of everything that they're trying here for the 6 cars that are here, it definitely makes it easier.
Yep.
So I want to, first of all, you've been a great correspondent. We appreciate it, John Hunter. You got a future,
Thanks.
man, in the TV world. Hopefully in 20 some odd years, 25 years in the after many championships. You had a great season this past season. The Xfinity obviously kicked my butt a lot. But I want to know, so for the fans that are listening to you out there, what are you looking at? Like as a driver that's not driving the car, you're going to the Cup again for a second time now, and I think a really good situation with Legacy Motor Club and Toyota. But like, what are you and Ben Bayshore? What are you watching? What are you looking at? What are you observing out there that you could tell people like, yeah, this is what's on my mind. So I'm focused on that. Hey, when we come here in the spring or whatever, or when I get in this next gen car, these are the things I'm working on.
Yeah, so for me, it's integrating within a new team, right? Within
Yep.
Legacy Motor Club, Luckily for me, to have a voice that I'm familiar with as far as been uh, my side, and is a huge ordeal. So I definitely am looking forward to working with Ben again. But for us being in the Xfinity deal the last year, it definitely is a different mindset coming into the Cup Series. Way more data as far as live data through SMT, with steering trace, brake trace, actual mile per hour trace, RPM, compared to the Xfinity deal where it's all GPS based, right? So the
Yep.
Xfinity deal, you're more or less like, you can look at SMT, but you're more or less guessing on what the guy is doing rather than actually having the data right there in front of you. So for me, it's learning about how to read certain parts of the data, in really areas that I need to focus on, and what guys do different here, from driver to driver. Sadly, we don't have SMT here at this test, from what I've been told, but we have live data on the 43, with Eric driving. So just kind of seeing different points and looking at that with Ben. And then for me, I don't have a ton of experience in this car. I've done a few tests with 2311. I think I've run 2 races in it. I've done a couple wheel force tests and different things of that sort with Toyota, in quite a bit of sim time. But within that, these cars are completely different than the Xfinity car, the old Cup car, the Truck Series, where I have experience and can kind of suggest certain things as far as adjustments and how the car is handling and the direction that we need to go. So with these cars, with making runs like yesterday, I think they did 4 or 5 30-lap runs in a row, on different sets of tires, and kind of just seeing where that trends to, and then listening to Eric, and what he's talking about, and looking at data and kind of correlating that. And then also with Ben, so for Ben not being in the Cup Series last year, but in it in 21 and 22 with Kyle, at JGR, just kind of listening to him talk, and for what exactly Eric is suggesting, what Ben would do to fix it, right? Like listening to what adjustments and what areas of the car that he would work on. So for us being out here, it's more about communication, more about me learning as much as I can about this car, and just trying to soak in as much knowledge as I can, as well as being out here for the different packages. I don't know if we're going to run the same package at short tracks or a different package that they're trying here. So it's learning about each one of those packages. So when it does come out that if we end up changing packages, I kind of know somewhat along the lines of what to expect and how to prep for that.
You've also, I got to let you go here soon, but we've got 2 more things for you. Just first and foremost, the new Camry you guys got out there.
Yep.
You know, I look at the Ford, the Camry. These manufacturers are getting aggressive with the look of these race cars, which is not just for looks, I would think, from what you're seeing. That has to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much on that forefront, but I definitely
I baited
I'm
you.
definitely. You did. You tried, Parker. I know better than that. Um, but being able to see the new Camry in action out here, with Seabell behind the wheel and Eric, and seeing just what Toyota has been able to produce and replicate from the new Camry that's coming out in 24 is huge. I'm proud of all the effort from Toyota and everyone behind the scenes that made it happen, and hopefully we can get a new Camry to victory lane here next year.
That'd be very nice. Very nice. You did it many times this past year, as I mentioned. We got one more thing before we let you go. As I said, you've been a great correspondent, but we ask every guest a question of the day on Money Lap Live. And our question today is, if you had the chance to drive one or the other one time, an F1 car at Monaco or an Indy car at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval.
F1 at Monaco. I feel like
Boom.
Monaco is such an iconic place to be able to go and run, and I thoroughly enjoyed the street race at Chicago last year. I thought that it was really cool, a lot of different characteristics, and to be honest, since I was a little kid, I've tuned in to Monaco every time that they've run there with F1. So, I mean, run an F1 car too. How can you beat that at this point?
100%. Great response. I'm sure that's going to be a popular one, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Best of luck out there the rest of the tests, and best of luck in 2024 with your new team in the Cup Series.
Thanks. You too, Parker. Appreciate you guys having me on, Landon.
Thanks for joining, John.
See ya.
Hey, Parker Kligerman here. I haven't won every race I've competed in. I know it's a shocker, but one thing I'm hoping to do, get you to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon below, because that helps us make this awesome Money Lap content. Also, join us for the live show, Wednesdays, 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where we dive into all motorsports live here on the Money Lap YouTube channel. Please join us. We need more than just our moms watching.